A community development district is a special purpose government framework permitted by Florida statutes and used by local governments and developers to shift the burden of developing infrastructure, maintaining roads and landscaping, building clubhouses, and other improvements to the homeowners in that district or area. In this video, we're going to talk about what CDDs actually are and what to look out for, and how to calculate what you'll be required to pay if you choose to buy a home within a CDD. The general idea with a CDD is that you shift the burden of paying for infrastructure and development to those who directly benefit, which typically means homeowners in those newly developed areas. The way CDDs work is the CDD, run by a board that is chosen by the developer, issues bonds to pay for the infrastructure and other community improvements. In the early days of a development, since the developer is the primary landowner, this makes sense. But once a certain percentage of homes are sold, control over the decision-making process shifts to the actual homeowners. The massive costs of building the infrastructure are financed by the developer with a key CDD incentive, which is tax-free municipal bonds. There's actually a detailed list of what can be provided for by a CDD that includes water management and control, water supply, sewer, wastewater management, bridges and culverts, district roads and street lights, public transportation and parking, investigation and remediation of environmental contamination, conservation areas, parks and recreation facilities, fire prevention and control, school buildings and related structures, security, waste collection and disposal, and mosquito control. The amount homeowners are assessed for this is added to their tax bill. Rather than paying for everything up front when they buy their home, homeowners pay the ultimate cost for the infrastructure over a span of 15 to 30 years, but they also have to pay for the ongoing upkeep of that infrastructure for as long as they live in the district. That's an important point a lot of people don't understand. They hear about people paying off their bond and they think that's it. But there will always be a cost of maintaining everything. Now, this is an important topic even if you're not planning to buy a home in Florida, because many other states have statutes similar to the Florida CDD provisions and have created their own bond issuing special districts with much the same purpose and structure as Florida CDDs. CDDs can go bad. CDDs have gone bankrupt in Florida. In fact, according to one article in Florida Trend written back in 2010, at the time that article was written, Florida had 125 districts in default on $3 billion in bonds. The article remarked that an additional 70 were teetering on default. This is just another reason why it's vitally important that you find and work with an agent who really knows what's going on where you're thinking about buying. It's their duty to help point this kind of stuff out to you. CDD financial problems can really only be helped in a few ways. One, an increase in demand for real estate within that district creates the needed revenue to cover bond payments. Or, as has happened in several instances, the bad debt along with the land and improvements on it are bought at such large discount that the new owners are able to go in and build the community and sell homes at prices that are attractive enough to generate a flood of new sales. But just because a certain area is in high demand, it doesn't necessarily mean their CDDs aren't at risk. A perfect example of this is The Villages, which is home to several CDDs. As you probably know, The Villages is the most popular retirement community in Florida right now, and homes continue to sell very well there. But while they may enjoy good financial health, The Villages CDDs have come under attack by the IRS, which has had an investigation going on for several years now, looking into whether these CDDs have been controlled and run according to the rules that are in place to keep them tax exempt. Also, in 2012, Florida's governor signed an executive order setting in motion a review of all special districts in Florida by the Office of Policy and Budget. So what is a prospective retirement community home buyer to do? Do your homework and proceed with caution. CDDs are not necessarily a bad thing, as they can provide a community with amenities and services it otherwise might not get. You just have to be careful and know what you're getting yourself into before buying in a CDD. There are new CDDs popping up all the time, so always be sure to ask when buying a home if it is in a CDD, and if so, learn as much as you can about the financial health and stability of that particular CDD. Remember that you will be required to pay both a CDD infrastructure assessment and a maintenance assessment. And again, the infrastructure assessment can be paid off, and many homeowners choose to do that. You'll see some resales advertised with the statement, no bond or bond paid. But regardless, you'll always have the CDD maintenance assessment to contend with. Here's how the CDD infrastructure and maintenance assessments are calculated. Now, you'll never have to do this calculation yourself, but I think it just helps to see how they come up with the numbers. And for simplicity's sake, we'll use some nice big round numbers. Let's say the infrastructure construction costs $10 million, and there are 1,000 acres within the district, and the specific unit within the district your home is located in has 100 acres, and there are 200 lots. The math would be $10 million divided by 1,000 acres, which equals $10,000 per acre. Remember, your unit has 100 acres at $10,000 per acre, or $1 million for your unit. $1 million divided by the 200 lots equals $5,000 bond per lot for your unit. The annual CDD maintenance assessment is calculated in much the same way, except it is based on the annual budget established by the Board of Supervisors for each district, rather than the one-time fixed infrastructure cost. Whether you're working with a new home sales agent from the development or an outside realtor, they should be able to tell you what the current CDD assessments are due for each property you see. Now, as I said earlier, the amount you'll have to pay for the CDD will come on your property tax bill, which naturally begs the question, are my CDD assessments deductible on my federal tax return? Well, the IRS says that it is not deductible because it is an assessment, not an ad valorem tax. Lots of people just go ahead and deduct it because the check is made out to the tax collector for the entire amount. The tax collector keeps the taxes due and sends the remainder of the money to the CDD. But technically, only a portion of that check is actually property taxes. Do people go ahead and deduct the full amount and get away with it? I'm sure they probably do, but they're not supposed to. And I'd strongly advise you against trying to gyp the IRS. Alright, I hope this video gives you a little better understanding of CDDs. We'll talk to you in the next video.